What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Snowpiercer video. A lot has happened in Season 1, and with it over, it's time to discuss the top 5 things they need to answer in Season 2. As always, if you're new, please do drop a like down below as it does help us out massively, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video if you want more. The first thing that we need answering is just how Mr. Wilford lost his train. Now, Melanie explained her rationale for taking the train because, well, he was a bit of a dick. He was going to create a sort of society which is what we've already had. And Melanie was trying to actually create a society that we should have. Yes, it's very much a communist versus a capitalist society if you want to really get down to the nuts and bolts of it right there. We know she was actually leaving him in Chicago at the start of the train's journey, but how did she actually take the train? Now, I have to think that maybe she sedated him, or maybe she literally just left without him. It's just absolutely bizarre there that that actually happened. Later leads us into mystery number 2, which is just how did Wilford and Melanie meet? We know she designed the train and was seemingly the only one who could actually fix it because, well, she designed it. So, with that in mind, what led her from that dirt farm or dirt poor life that she had to going and actually being a sort of right-hand woman, so to speak, of Wilford? And, well, what kind of control did he actually have over her? I mean, he must have been pretty evil if she was considering leaving him for dead there, considering that, well, the entirety of the world has been frozen, and if you are not actually on the train, then that means you're going to die and freeze to death in just a matter of minutes. And their connection leads us to mystery number 3, which is who the hell is the father of Melanie's daughter, Alexandra? She never really spoke about her daughter all that much, and it very much was a blink and you'll miss it throughout the season, and was just a generally mysterious figure because we never really learnt much about her. We saw her hoodie that said Yale, and we saw her hoodies and hats that had different colleges and engineering schools on them, and we saw some hints towards the engineering team being that, well, she was probably one of them, considering she, designed the train. But we did see a glimpse of her daughter, and then in the finale, we see in her memories that, well, she had a daughter, and her daughter was there with the same music that was on the train Big Alice that was used by Mr. Wilford to catch up and try and hijack the Snowpiercer train. We also know that she survived at the end there, and, well, she managed to actually survive. Of course, Melanie thought that her daughter had died, but that obviously wasn't the case. So the question is Wilford actually her father? It would give him a reason to actually keep Melanie's daughter alive because, well, if he is the father, that makes sense that he wants to keep his daughter alive. That's absolutely a kind of close-shut case. But I imagine someone as evil as Wilford wouldn't really bother keeping the daughter of the person who stole his train alive. Considering the fact that Alexandra didn't make the train, so to speak, that then makes me think that perhaps she was with Wilford getting towards the train, and then she decided to leave without him. Of course, there was a riot getting on the train, as we saw in episode 1, so that means that maybe she decided that, you know what, it's not safe, we have to leave, I'm going to just convince everyone that he was actually not making the train, or was actually on the train in the first place. And mystery number 4 is how many trains are there? Well, in the movie, we only had the one Snowpiercer train, but in the show, we found out that not only had Mr. Wilford survived, but he was able to bring with him a train called Big Alice that was used to take back Snowpiercer, and that is actually how he will succeed in taking his train back, as we saw in the trailer for Season 2. Of course, it seemed like Melanie was surprised that Big Alice had been used in somewhat of a kind of manner for this. So she seemed surprised that Big Alice was used not only as a supply train, but also used as, well, something which could take over Snowpiercer itself. In the comics, it was hinted that there could be up to 10 trains, which does make a lot of sense considering the actual parts that the train needs. Bennett has made out multiple times that the whole of the train is falling apart and they need more parts. We haven't yet seen the icebreaker, which was one of the other trains we saw in the comic book, and that was kind of like the main alternative train, and they managed to catch up to the icebreaker and actually scalp parts from the engine of that one as well. So I'm not sure if Big Alice is the replacement for that, or we will actually see another train, because it's now possible there could be 3 trains because Big Alice has replaced the icebreaker itself. And lastly, what happened in Wilford's 7 years and what kind of society has he actually built? Because as they said in the show, that is a danger. We would have to assume that he managed to grab one of the other trains, which obviously, like I said, money seems surprised existed, and this was all kept a secret. So with that in mind, going forward, this isn't looking good for anyone on the Snowpiercer whatsoever. I would imagine that his society is a lot more brutal than that of what we see in the movie. In the movie, the Tail and anyone who is kind of in the bottom part of society don't seem to connect as much as the rest. It seems like there's kind of a sort of black market and also an understanding between Tail, third and first class. In the movie, we actually see someone taken to play the violin, and we see some other people taken to the front of the train, and the kid version, which is the movie version of Miles, was taken to the front of the train to actually get into the smaller parts of the train which adults can't reach, and it is a really harrowing part of the movie. So with that in mind, I think that is going to be a lot more of what we see here. I think he's going to put down the Tail a lot more. The Tail will be disconnected quite a lot from the rest of the open society, and that is the kind of real society that he will bring over here into the Snowpiercer train. And of course, the train there, the Big Alice, looked a lot like the one we saw in the movie when we saw Ed Harris's car as well. So that's really, really interesting moving forward. But let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think of all the mysteries? Are there any mysteries you want answered? And do you have any kind of answers to these mysteries I have presented to you here in this video? So do drop your comments down in the comments. Well, they're up. They've moved them for some reason. And please do like the video as well, as it helps us out massively. And click subscribe with notifications on if you want more. And I will see you soon. Please do let me know your comments as well for a Q&A stream that I will be doing this Saturday. So that is it for this video, and goodbye.